Hey everyone, I wanted to talk about Bref 2 and local development, and I thought I should record a video. It would be simpler than writing a whole wall of text. So in Bref 1, the way we do local development for web applications is we can, run PHP locally with PHP Artisan or similar, or we can use Docker. And this is like what we recommend usually. And Bref provides dev images that are like the production images, Docker images with the dev suffix and tooling in there like Xdebug, Blackfire, and it provides the FPM dev getaway. I have, for example, a Laravel application here, and what you can see here is the configuration you would use for Laravel with Bref 1. So you have the FPM dev getaway where you set the handler, you set the directory that contains the public files like CSS, JavaScript. And then you have the PHP container that runs Laravel, or that runs the PHP code. And if you want to use Artisan or the Symfony console, you would have to have another container where you override the entry point so that it doesn't start the Lambda web server or the Lambda server, it starts PHP. Now I'm experimenting with another approach where first, let me talk about these dev images. In Bref 2, they would be different. What we did in Bref 1 was run PHP with FPM on completely differently than on Lambda, which works fine, but it's not really close to production. In Bref 2, these dev images have Xdebug, they have Blackfire, but they run PHP just like on Lambda with the what it's called the emulator that AWS provides. So it uses the base images that AWS provides with the Lambda emulator, and then PHP runs with Bref just like on Lambda. So that's great. But it means as well that we don't have a web server for PHP and for Lambda, because Lambda just doesn't run a web server. So what I was looking at is tweaking this other container so that it could talk to the Lambda emulator. And I managed to do that with, sorry, I lost it. But anyway, with a dev, like a dev container image. But working on it, I figured, hey, for Bref 2, maybe we could as well include all of that inside the dev image of Bref. And that way you just have one container. And I also looked at, if you want to run like the Symfony console or PHP Artisan for Laravel, you have to have a separate container because you need to override the entry point and run the Lambda container in a different way. What if we could merge all of that into a single container and just get rid of the complexity? So with Bref 2, this is what I have so far, a single container. And it's the same name as before, like PHP 8.0 or 8.1 or 8.2 -fpm -dev. And I map the port. I set my handler, like this is the entry point of the application. I say, hey, if you have any JavaScript or CSS file in there, it's in public. And then what I can do is start my container, and it will run PHP, and we'll see it will run Laravel just like on Lambda. So I can go and visit that URL, and it should run my Laravel application. And inside my single container, I run an Nginx proxy. That's the details, but anyway, you can see it works. This is my Laravel application. And if we look at the logs, you can see like start and report. These are like Lambda logs. And it's because PHP runs just like on Lambda. That's different from Bref 1. That's much better. So we get an environment closer to production. We get just one container to run. And what's great as well is that if I stop that, I can run the same container, but this time not run the HTTP part, run like the console or artisan command. So I can do docker compose, run, and then the name of my container, this is Laravel, and I'll run echo hello. And then I can run any command like that. So if I don't provide a command like this, it will run the web application. But if I do provide a command, it will run my command. And I think that makes it a all-in-one approach for local development that covers console lambdas, web lambdas, and however, it doesn't cover yet function lambdas. But I'm looking into that, and I think that should actually work fine, because on Bref 2, you'll be able to run your functions with the same same dev container as well. And what's great is that it says FPM, but it contains PHP CLI, so you can run, you can use it. It has Xdebug, it has Blackfire, and you can run PHP web with FPM, but you can also run, as we've seen, PHP Artisan with Blackfire, with Xdebug, and you can run functions with Xdebug and with Blackfire. So again, one image for all local development needs. Let me know what you think, and hopefully that will ship with Bref 2. Thank you.